Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Business Growth Show, where we talk about all components of business and how to utilize them for exponential growth. My name is Athin Cassiotis. I'm a serial entrepreneur, international speaker, results strategist, business coach, mentor, and consultant. After over 14 years of being in business and running multiple companies, I felt called to start this show. I see many people struggling to start or grow a business, which is why I want to help entrepreneurs achieve success in business quicker, more effectively, and sustainably. Today, I have an awesome guest. She's a serial entrepreneur, international speaker, investor, executive business coach, and a self-made millionaire by 23. She's an expert at doing deals and helps people to grow their businesses. Welcome, Katie K, and thank you for being on my show.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so glad to be here.
Awesome. Love it. Great to have you here as well. And yes, you're a very successful entrepreneur, Katie. And for those people who don't know who you are, please introduce yourself by telling us your life story.
So I'm Katie. I am from Toronto, Canada. I've had an interesting life story. I chose entrepreneurism at a very young age. So the back history on me is I started at 19. And I just kind of dove in. I started with a little farmer's booth market, nothing crazy, and I got into a retail industry in e-cigarettes and CBD. And I grew and scaled that to 10 retail locations, 2 wholesale companies, just scaled the thing like crazy to North America and Europe, owned the distribution rights on all the liquid and kind of just ecosystem that whole thing at a very young age. And so because I had done it so young, I definitely started to switch things up. I had to go through different challenges in life and make sure my life was set up. So there was all different sorts of real estate opportunities and other things coming at me. And I really kind of just tried to stay focused on what I was doing. And as the laws changed, we didn't really know what was going to happen in Canada. It was a risky market. And I decided to sell. So I sold off everything successfully. I got out of all of my locations, which was great. And then I had to pivot. So that was my early success early on. That's kind of where the became a millionaire at 23 happened. I'm now 26, although many people get confused with that. That was my beginning. So yeah, I had all that success and I kind of had to restart life. And that's kind of where I had a midlife crisis at 25 and everyone laughs at me. But that's honestly what happened. I didn't know what to do next. And it's kind of like the professional athlete leaves hockey or basketball or whatever your sport is. And you have to figure out what your next move is. So I definitely started to pivot. I always kind of had real estate in my back pocket, but I wasn't an avid real estate investor by any means at that point. So I started looking at different things, different opportunities. I own different companies now. And I definitely started to pivot, but that was the very beginning. And that's kind of where the success story had happened, and where the pivot started to where we are today and what we're all up to today, which is, I look at all different opportunities and there's definitely not, a lot of people use the word serial entrepreneur lightly. And I think I definitely am it to a definition. I think I'm in so many different industries and hands in different jars, that it's very hard for me to pinpoint what I do specifically, other than I sell snow to Eskimos and do everything.
I love that. And you definitely are. You're in, you've got a hands on a lot of pies. I think that's really, like you said, the definition of entrepreneur. It's like, what are the problems that are happening there? And, what are the solutions that we can provide? It's not just we do one thing, right? We look at how we can help people in whichever way where there's a need, in the market. So that's
absolutely.
Yeah, really awesome.
Fundamentals are the same. Industry can change, but fundamentals are the same. Sales is sales.
That's right.
Problems are problems, no matter the business.
That's right. And sales is the most important skill to learn in business. If you don't sell, you get out of a business. And, and it's important to sell to actually be able to connect the dots for people as well, because if you can't sell, then everybody loses, in those transactions. So,
that's a huge part of it.
Definitely. That's awesome points. And, you've had some health struggles from my understanding as well. So do you want to elaborate a little bit on that?
Yeah. I don't, it comes up randomly, but I'm a 2 times cancer survivor. I had cancer when I was very, very young. And then I also had it again when I turned 25. So actually it was just before I was 25, but yeah, I have a condition called endometriosis. So I'm unfortunately always going to be at risk for these things. Endometriosis isn't fun either. That alone is a nightmare. Stage 4, constantly battling that. So anyone who goes through endometriosis or needs help or wants someone to talk to, reach out to me. I am blessed in the fact that my mom, my sister, every female in my family has it. And I say blessed because I have a full support system for it. And so many women go through this and not have someone for that. So unfortunately, that makes me constantly being screened. And you know, I say unfortunately, but then that's also a blessing because I'm constantly getting screened, which means my mind's at rest. We find things very early on. I have a lot of procedures and surgeries done to keep me healthy and to remove cysts and growths before they turn cancerous. But yeah, it was a very hard, challenging thing to go through. It changes my perspective on everything I look at. And money can't fix those things, unfortunately. So I think when you go through something like that, or you know someone who's been touched by cancer or seen it, it changes everything. It changes everything. So my outlook on life is very, you know, I wake up and I'm here and I'm breathing. No matter what I do, whether I'm financially successful or not, I see success because I'm here and I'm living and I'm breathing. So yeah, it's been a ride. It's always going to be a ride. It's always something I have to live with, but I am determined that I will stay cancer free, and then just continue. So it's not much I can do about it, sadly. I'm blessed that I got through it, but I have an amazing team of doctors, an amazing team around me, who I owe everything to. So yeah.
Yeah. That's awesome. That's an amazing story. And, you know, I love, you know, your mindset and the way you look at that situation, you know, that you look at the blessings, you look at, you know, what you've got, the support network, and that you're doing the things, you know. And I think with health, it's all about prevention, right? You know, prevention is better than cure, because you don't want to get to something to that stage. And obviously if you do get to that point, obviously you want to push through it. So, you know, amazing, congratulations for you know, overcoming that twice. Yeah. That's not a small feat. So that's awesome. Yeah. Well done for that. And, you know, and I think, you know, like with me, with my health, you know, I take certain supplements and I drink very clean water and certain things so that I can get to the point of prevention. And from my research in health, everybody's got different sort of thresholds and trigger points, right? It's like someone can smoke a pack a day for 80 years and not get cancer, and someone can smoke for a year and get lung cancer, right? Like it's not a one size fits all. And, you know, you don't want to test those boundaries where possible. Once you become aware of health and how important it is, like you said, you can't buy your health or, you know, like anything like that. It's something that you need to take care of. And once you understand that, it's like you don't want to test it. You don't want to play with fate there. It's like, okay, well, how can I be the best version to not only just be healthy in general, but, you know, to give you the most energy, the vitality, to be able to do the things that you want to do in life, you know, to live life to the fullest. So, yeah.
It's so cool. And people don't pay attention to it. They really don't. Like a lot of people do because, you know, they have to, or they've chosen a healthy lifestyle, but a lot of people don't understand, you know, that they're not supposed to feel that way. And maybe that kind of comes from my endometriosis, which is obviously the trigger for everything. But so many women go undiagnosed from endometriosis. I am so passionate about it because it's so untalked about. Now there are some big public figures talking about it that have it. But I just, you know, if you're suffering every day, like life isn't supposed to be that hard. So you do whatever you can. If it's the clean eating, the clean drinking, whatever you have to do just to be able to function. That's first and foremost, most important. Give yourself the body, the nutrition that it needs. And I always lack at that. Sometimes my mom will yell at me, did you drink your water today? Did you? But I'm lucky in the sense that they all go through it, right? My mom's a cancer survivor, is constantly battling it. My sister is. So we've all been through it. I think I'm very blessed in the sense that I have a support system. So it's a little less.
Yeah,
dramatic.
That's awesome.
It's still crazy. And when you drop the word, it's hard not for people to be like, but for me, it's very normal in my world. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's all about the meaning you give to it, and that's amazing. It really shows your resilience, I think, is a key word there for people that it's a key trait. So what are some of the mindset traits that got you through those tough times?
Well, for me, when I got sick, I was, it was I don't know how I say this. It started off very kind of normal. Once again, the word in my family isn't a big bomb at all, but it hit me differently. And I think for me, I couldn't stay home. That was the main thing. I couldn't stay home. I couldn't not go to work. I couldn't not go to my store. You're asking me to stay home, which means I have to think about the one thing that's wrong with me. I'm a big believer of don't give it life, right? Like, we'll find a way to fix it, but don't give it life. So for my mindset, I really had to do exactly that. So I remember I came home and my husband had me all set up in my bedroom, and I had security cameras for all my stores, and I just had to plug this thing in, and it was all on the TV, which usually would be at my head office, because I was a crazy person that watched every employee when they were working. And I would call them, why are you not mopping the floor? And so he had me all set up. He's like, here you go. It's perfect. It's just like you're at work. And I lasted like a couple days. I don't remember how long I lasted. And it was my mindset. Like, if you want me to stay in this bed, I'm going to die in this bed. That was my thing. I said, I know you just went through all this for me. Thank you. Love you. But you got to get me out of here. So we made a deal. And the deal was, I had one manager that kind of floated with me, was kind of an assistant with me. And the deal was that he had to message my family and my husband, and that I was resting and getting up and resting and getting up. But for me to be able to go back to work was what kept my mindset clean. Because I think if you just sit there and you just wallow and wallow and wallow and think of the worst case scenarios, it probably would have killed me. It seriously probably would have killed me. So for my mindset, I had to get out there and just kind of, sounds crazy. I was literally the girl in like sweatpants hiding in the back rooms. They didn't let me out. But we went and we bought 10 couches, and we put one in every location. And then the manager that floated would always drive me, and we'd hide me in the back room because I looked like death warmed up half the time. But that was my mindset. And I didn't believe in mainstream medicine. I did chemo like 3 rounds, and then I was not down for that either. My family didn't do that, so why should I? And I just chose my path with it, and I got really lucky. I had different forms of medicine. I'm also lucky my mother-in-law is a pharmacist, so the very expensive pills that were $1,000 a bottle, I didn't have to pay $1,000 a bottle for them. But it was just the mindset of, if I sit here and wallow in it, that alone could kill you. Like that alone could kill your partner or your, family members watching you go through that. So, I really I had to go back. I had to be, even if I was hidden in the curtains, I really had to just go back to work and keep my head going, keep my mindset going. So that's what I did. And it all worked out well. I had my surgery and it all went well. Everyone rallied around me. There was 35 doctors in there and students. So, it worked out really well. You just have to, it really comes down to the mind. And everyone, it's hard with cancer because it's such a touchy subject. Everyone has their different views on it. Some people are heavy chemo. Some people are heavy herbal. Some people are, there's all different woo-woos in there and different methods. That's what I'll say. But for me, it's your mindset. You pick your path. You pick your, how should I say this? I don't even want to say medicine, but medicine path. And then you do what's best for you. It really does come down to staying positive while you're going through it. So, and that comes down even to this day. I have to stay positive. I know that I have stage 4 endometriosis. I know there's constantly cysts in my body growing. But I go every day, just staying positive, go to my appointments, have my screens, pray for the best, and then we deal with it after that. So, you have to stay positive.
Yeah.
And for the people around you, there's people that love me and care about me, right? I can't be, oh my God, 24/7. It's going to take an effect on them. So staying strong for everyone around you is really important too.
Yeah, I love that so much about what you said. And yeah, everyone can, as you said, choose their sort of care or medicine path, but that mindset traits, that positivity, because a lot of people, you know, that may not have a good mindset, or it sort of comes back to those 5 people you spend the most time with again, right? If you've got a lot of people that are negative around you,
Yeah.
in those sort of moments, that can affect you. But even if you do, if your family are like that, you need to be strong enough to be able to say, listen, guys, everything's fine. Like, listen, this is what I'm going to do. And you know, really push through and, you know, potentially not speak to certain people, or just let them know, just saying, listen, I don't want to hear about these sort of things. I'm not focusing on that, you know, what could go wrong. I'm making sure that I risk manage and do things that, you know, helps
Yeah.
that. But then I want to focus on the positive. And as you know, a key thing is we all have good days and bad days, and you know, don't worry about the bad days. It's like when you get the good days, you get enough of those in a year, and you're going to have you know, a great year. So yeah, no, that's really awesome. And yeah, with all the success you've built, you know, while you're still only being in your mid-20s, which is amazing. You know, if we elaborate more on that, so what key mindset traits or you know, focus areas do you instill into yourself every day to ensure that you're always at the top of your game?
Um, Firstly, I accept failure. And I know that sounds like total opposite, but I will take the failures that I had and kind of dissect them. So I definitely accept what went wrong the day before, what happened, what things that were out of my control. If I played a part, what part did I play in where that went wrong, right? And it doesn't matter what I'm talking about. If it's a deal, if it's something in my company's going wrong, I really, really do accept failure. I'm okay with it. That might come from the resilient side of my other part of my mindset, but you know, I'm not perfect by any means. So firstly and foremostly, accept the failure and how you can change the failure, because that takes the pressure off. And if you can take the pressure off and take the anxiety off, you know, I said this to someone else on an interview too. I said, everyone's always watching. So you just have to be okay with the fact that everyone's always watching, whether it's one person or 100,000 people, right? Whether I'm like Jennifer Lopez or I'm, you know, just Sally Sue down the street. There's always one person watching. So you have to remove that away. And the only way to remove that away is to be okay with failure, to publicly be okay with failure. Like there was mistakes I made in business all the time. So to be okay with it and to move on from it is huge. Positive mindsets, what I can do every single day is really important. So I often will just reset probably like halfway through my day, especially right now. I don't know how everyone is doing with different countries are in isolation, not in isolation. But for me, it's at least like get outside, like just get outside, reset. If I'm just listening to something or I'm walking, I love to run. Running is my therapy. That is definitely a mindset trick for me. But just to get out there and kind of reset, because these days are way longer than any other days we used to have, I feel like. And the thing is I need breaks kind of in between just to kind of reset my brain and stay in that mindset, because there's always going to be bad things happening. And that's kind of like the false, I did a post today, like entrepreneurism is false advertising. Like everyone thinks it's this beautiful thing with this ribbon on it. It's not like that at all. It is a shit storm every day. And so you really have to stay resilient and positive. When those things start happening, you kind of have to laugh a little bit and be like, okay, how are we going to fix this? What are we going to do next? And if you don't, then you'll just get so depressed and down on yourself, and you'll blame yourself, and no one's perfect. Like Jeff Bezos is not perfect. He makes mistakes. He hires people to do the things that he cannot himself do. So, you know, being able to find your strengths and your weaknesses and accept them, perfect, right? You have to be able to know that in your own 2 feet, you can't do everything. So to have the mindset around being open and being optimistic is huge, because, you know, 99% of the days are going to be crazy and things are going to be flying everywhere, and it doesn't matter what industry you're in, it always happens. So yeah, just to stay kind of resilient, reset for sure. Those are my biggest in a day, and running is my therapy, so I have to run.
Yeah.
Zone out.
I love that.
Yeah.
really awesome points there. And yeah, it is really important, like you said, to get out a little bit. And over there, you're obviously in Canada, and it's you've got some summer weather, which is nice at the moment. We're winter here, and it's been pouring down rain in Sydney, unfortunately. So it's a little bit harder to go out for a run at the moment. But at the same time, I still I don't make excuses in that way. In the mornings, at least, I always do my workouts, my busy life workouts in the morning, and I keep myself fit that way. And definitely when I get the chance, even sometimes if it's only light raining, you can always still go for a walk and things, and get out. I think that fresh air, even of getting out of that space, because and even like not eating lunch at your desk or something like that, even if you're just having your meal or whatever it is just go somewhere that's in a different part of the house if you can't get outside. And sometimes I even go outside to eat, or just in a different area, I think is really important. And really just I think one of the key things that I do as well is that we all have doubts in certain things, and issues happen, but it's like, don't worry about that. This is what I'm going to do going forward, and just sort of resetting yourself in your mind as well. So from an external perspective, but then from a mindset, belief perspective as well, in each situation, so that you don't spiral down, for the day if something bad goes wrong. So, and like you said, many people think success is easy. They see these Instagram lifestyles, and people have got all these, cars, and like, it's amazing. I'm on a beach and I'm selfieing, and that's ridiculous, as you know. And I think
it's not true.
Oh, and I feel we need to tell people, like, what we go through to get to where we are. Like, so tell everyone, like, what does it actually take to succeed in business?
Oh gosh. You have to be willing to give up everything, first of all. I said this the other day. I was speaking for JT, and I said, you have to understand, like, it's disrespectful to successful people when we see that. Like, swipe up here, become a millionaire. Swipe up, like, there's no code to the safe that you're going to put in, and there you go, you became a millionaire. Like, we are not the casino. This doesn't, and that happens once a week. So firstly and foremostly, it doesn't happen like that. And you have to give it everything with no guarantee. That's the other thing. We all get up and we work our butts off every single day. We try, we pivot, we innovate, we come up with all these ideas, and there is no guarantee it's going to work. Like, we put it all on the line every single day, and there's no guarantee it's going to work. If you can genuinely say you can do that, then yes, you're an entrepreneur. If you genuinely can't, then no, you're not. You're just someone who created a job for yourself that's, replaced your salary. Like, congratulations. It's nothing. Like, it really isn't. Like, you have to work your butt off, and people don't get that. I mean, this pandemic, there are nights, there was 2 weeks straight, I got an average of 2.5, 3 hours of sleep a night. And then I would set an alarm in the middle of the day and get a half-hour nap in, because I was dealing with so many time zones. So it was constantly like up at these different hours. And I've already kind of made it. So like, that alone was sacrifice, but I love it. Like, I love the game. So, you have to be able to literally do whatever it takes. Like, we go without lunches, we go without dinners. We really do try to fit everything in and be the best healthy people we can, but we skip things because it's more important. And can you do that? And can you sacrifice time with children? And can you sacrifice time? Like, I think that's one big thing with me, is watching, my dad become successful, and watching him have to, he was on a plane literally every single week going to Italy. And then he'd come back and he'd spend the weekend with us. But he would fly home just to, after the time and jet lag, he'd maybe get 6 hours with us. But he did that just to have his 6 hours with us. And can you genuinely say you're going to sacrifice that? Not many will. Like, not many people will. So, it's the ultimate sacrifice with no guarantee. If you sign up for that, then welcome to the club. We're happy to have you, because there's not many of us like it. So we like to hang out with each other. But it's the ultimate sacrifice, no guarantee. I don't know how else to say it. It's crazy, but we all love it. We're all crazy. All entrepreneurs are crazy. There's not one sane entrepreneur on the planet.
Exactly. I love that. You know, what is crazy, what is normal, right? And you
Yeah.
know, obviously a lot of the population just have jobs and like to be secure, but you know, you really have to get outside of that zone and really you know, be okay with risk and, you know, putting on the line and putting yourself out there and yeah, like you said, doing whatever it takes. Like, you know, I get up around, you know, 4 a.m. every day, right? And sometimes you're going to have to do late nights and get up early. And the reason why we do this is so that we can, you know, we can work out or we can do certain things in the morning, whether it's strategic thinking or other stuff, right? And then prep ourselves, or we've got to deal with different time zones now because it's a very global thing. So it's, yeah, and like that, that mindset and mindset's a key portion, right? So it's like, you got to learn the business skills, like, you know, all those different elements of business are really important, right, for you to succeed. Because if you don't know certain things, you don't have to be like the expert in every single part of it, but you still need to understand it quite well so you can apply it and then potentially get people in, obviously, to do parts of it. But I think mindset's a key part that, you know, you can tell people the same thing and then you're going to get a lot of different results because of the way they look at things and how much are they willing to risk and how much are they willing to put in when it gets tough. And like you said, it's like, how much do you love it when you get up and you're like, you love the game of being the entrepreneur, of you know, connecting things, doing deals and all the rest of it, then it drives you, right? You know, even if you don't eat or, you know, you do these things, there's this part in our body that, you know, just takes over and, you know, you can sort of push through that. And it's amazing when you understand how powerful we are in terms of like managing our energy and increasing our energy when we want to, that you don't need the 8 hours sleep every night, right? You know, you can deal with 6, you can deal with 4 or 5, you know, you can occasionally deal with hardly anything, you know, 2 hours if you need to. You know, you don't want to do it every day for the rest of your life, but you know, if push comes to shove, you can make it happen.
You gotta do for a couple months, you gotta do for a couple months. It's like people don't think we are also normal humans. Like they forget that we're also normal humans. Like some people also have children. I don't, but some people have children and they're entrepreneurs. Like they forget that we're also humans, but we don't have 9 to 5. We don't get to clock out. So yeah.
Yeah, right. And I'm the same. I don't have children yet, and you know, I plan to in the future. And I take my hat off to people that do, because you know, that's another thing. And it's you got to. I think it's all about allocating time, right? Like you said, your father did it to you, where he came back for the weekend and did all like that. So you've got to allocate time for your family, your partner, you know, whoever that is that's important in your life. But at the same time, you've got to make them aware that you're making this sacrifice for them, for all of that, so that, you know, you're not going to be able to just clock off at 5 every day. You're not going to be able to spend all weekend, the whole weekends, all the time, potentially, you know, with them, even though you want to most of the time because things pop up, right? But if you're doing it to create a better, you know, family environment, to create a future that's going to set yourself up financially, and then, you know, everything like that, then it's worth it, you know, to create the impact and what you want to do. So yeah, it's so and like, even with our relentless drive, you know, to succeed, you know, we all need a little bit of time to switch off and recalibrate, and that. So I know you mentioned before that you love going for your run, but like on the weekends or something like that, is there anything that you do to take your focus away from your business?
Recently, no. Recently, no. I do randomly. I love going for a drive, and I'll just listen to my tunes and I'll drive. That's usually what I'll do to shut off as well, especially in the winter. Canada, can't go for my run outside. I'm not that Olympic. What else? There's not much. There's not much. It's not like I love to like sit and binge watch TV, like, or I you know, like if that was my thing. I'm a huge sports fan, so watching sports and being able to do that, you know, I love doing that. Going to games and stuff. So I try to fit that in. I usually play baseball, but we can't play baseball. Should play volleyball, but can't play volleyball, COVID. So those are my things. It's usually athletic stuff that I'll go do, but yeah, and then just getting together with friends and stuff to rekindle and retouch, because life gets so crazy, and to be able to have, you know, dinner with them and just kind of connect, especially but pre-COVID, because if I'm all over the place and then I'm home for a few days. I do want to see them too, and just fill them in and spend time with family. But you know, it's a very kind of closed group of people now that I just stick to. So spend time with my family and like my drives, that's for sure. I do like my drives, listen to my tunes. That's in the winter. So yeah, those are really my three things. And go to some games if I can, but I can't do that right now. So
yeah,
so
awesome. I love that. The going for the drive thing. I probably don't do that. Haven't done that before properly, so I've got to try that out. Sounds quite interesting.
Yeah, you gotta do it because it's winter over there.
Yeah, that's right. That's what I mean. It's the perfect time now.
Yeah.
Because yeah, like I think the standard thing that a lot of people do is that, you know, they go on TV and, you know, you watch a movie, you watch a series or something, and you know, a lot of them are, you know, not necessarily you know, helping you in any way. I'm sort of a bit of that challenge, and don't get me wrong, sometimes potentially you want something to switch off with that you don't focus on, like that, but other times I like to look at things that, you know, I'm learning things from as well, that you know, the strategy or certain things as well. But then, yeah, is it switching off? So that's an interesting one. And like you said, you know, going out for that dinner occasionally or spending time with people, I think is good. And that connection now, I think, is becoming even more needed because of COVID, because we've been so isolated from people that, you know, when you get that opportunity, it's really, you know, it's awesome to really feel that. So
it's been interesting. There's been a couple encounters and just people just want to like run and hug you. And you're just like, I don't know if we're hugging. I went to a meeting the other day and we went up to his office, went to this boardroom, and he's like, I don't know if we're shaking hands. Are we handing out cards? Like, what are we doing? And it is. People are just craving the connection again. So, you know, it's good to get out and to see people, especially because you never know how people are doing. So it's good just to reconnect, but you can't do it all the time. But it's nice to see everyone.
Yeah, definitely. And
always
like,
wins.
Yeah, I think, you know, there's obviously a lot of fear being poured out, and you know, I don't buy into that myself. I think that's the key thing. A lot of people do, and then they sort of go down a spiral. And I think, you know, if you're smart, you don't buy into that. You got to be wary of the things that you read and how much, you know, you're putting into yourself. Like, you know, I read the Australian Financial Review, for example. So, you know, you got to pay for that. It's probably similar to like a Wall Street Journal type thing, but, you know, it does have some global news, but obviously it's more focused in on Australia as well. And then, you know, that gives you the news, and yes, there's going to be things that are happening in the world, but it's actually how it affects business, right? So you're not getting a lot of the just standard negativity stuff that really affects you. It's actually stuff that you can make decisions on, or that affects you and things like that. And I think that's important for people is what information they're feeding themselves as well in these times.
Don't listen to the Facebook news. Listen to the real news. Actually, don't even listen to the real news, but just definitely don't listen to the Facebook news. That's always off.
That's right. I on Facebook, I purposely like certain pages that give me good information, right? Like, you know, whether it's health pages or, you know, other things like that, so that if I do scroll, you know, from time to time, not that we have a lot of time to scroll, but you know, I'm getting some good stuff that comes into me like that, which is important to do that. So yes, gotta love the Facebook news and everything else of what gets portrayed out there.
So crazy out there.
It is. And there's a lot of censoring and things happening now, which is quite interesting as well, what I'm seeing on
Facebook.
Yeah,
I know. I don't know what's going on. There's so much. Facebook's getting a lot of heat, but then they're also, we'll see what happens. But
we'll see.
The other thing with COVID is the respect factor of other people, because you don't know. Like I will walk up to friends, and I know friends have children or they have babies or they, you know, and I'm just like, are you cool? I'm like, I'm okay, I'm fine, right? And then are you? But it's very weird. It's very weird. The first couple interactions, because you guys opened up as well, didn't you?
Yeah. We've been pretty good in Australia, where it hasn't really had a big, like, we haven't had like a stage 4 or anything lockdown where everything's been locked down. We had a stage 3 for a little while. In Melbourne now, there's this big thing that happened, and there's a lot of cases happening again, and there's just a few in Sydney where I am, but it's still pretty under control. Just Melbourne's in a full 6-week, not stage 3 lockdown. So we'll see what's going to happen there, but they're closing borders and things to try and contain it, and obviously internationally. So it's interesting I can only hear like in Europe where everything's open again, it's summertime and
Yeah.
things are just, people are still enjoying themselves.
Yeah.
You know,
It's weird. It's really weird for us because the US is like literally a couple hours away. So it's just like a whole different world over there. But yeah, when everything opened up, I guess you didn't go into full lockdown, but in Canada, when everything started to open up, you could just see people just wanting to be back together and be out. And I'll go for my drive and I'll, the patios are all full. Everyone's out just kind of enjoying themselves. And it's good to see after like the sacrifice of having a lockdown. I think our country did a really good job, and same with yours, keeping it contained. But I really want to see the economics. There's obviously a world economic pandemic as well as economic crisis, but I want to see how like different countries are going to incubate within themselves. Like, would Canada really fall as much as what we think it's going to fall, right? Because I think the US is going to plummet. But I really want to see that. Australia, right? Australia always bounces back. So it's going to be really interesting to see, because like we can't just open borders. We can't just say, okay, everyone go to Australia, everyone go to Canada, because no one's going to let them in. So I really want to see economically how that changes in everyone's little pods, which are countries, but I'm calling them pods.
Yeah, it's so true, because they're all going to open up at different times, and then what's going to be the thing, and is there going to be certain conditions, to then travel into countries and all this sort of stuff. There's a lot of uncertainty there, but you can't worry about it, so to speak. It's just more about monitoring it and seeing how things play out, and what you need to do to sort of still be able to do the things you need to do in life, which is important. And
interesting, because our mindsets are different though. Like our mindsets are the same because we're living in countries where like the world's still normal. But then I talk to people in the US all day long, talk to people in different places, and completely different mindset. Like they're going out still, but it's like, no, the world's ending. And it's just interesting because and that's why I was bringing it up too, because we're living in, everything's pretty much back to normal. It's weird, the world's different, but it's pretty much normal. But it's funny, our mindsets are kind of the same on that. So
yeah, that is interesting. And yeah, I guess you'd see it a lot more with dealing with a lot of people from the US and around the world. And yeah, that's that situational awareness, right, of what's happening in people's worlds, so that you can connect with them and understand what are the implications like that. Because it's interesting, we never had like mandatory masks, but now because of this second outbreak in Melbourne, they've got mandatory masks, right, for the first time. It's just happened. And they're saying, whether or not that's going to happen in Sydney as well now. So it's interesting because so many of this has happened already in all these other countries, and it's still happening in the US and that.
They're just walking around with masks 24/7, and we're like, what's a mask?
Yeah.
You wear a mask? What?
Exactly. And
I thought it was a joke. I thought it was a meme.
It is, but it's massive, right? The requirements and things, and that in that cleanliness and things. So it's interesting to see how things are playing out. So we'll keep seeing how the cookie crumbles, as they say.
How it plays out. We'll see if we ever get to meet each other again in person, because who knows? We'll go to 2022 if we're not careful.
Yeah, I'm sure we will. It's just a matter of when. That's going to be the key question, because I don't think this year, I don't think anything's going to be happening internationally. I want to go to Europe mid next year. That's the plan. I hope that I can still go. It is a year away, so we'll just have to see. I'm not going to book anything this year, of course, until I know. So we'll judge it as we go there. But I guess talking about like, obviously you've spoken on stage, in front of thousands of people multiple times, like in Toronto and in Los Angeles as well. So what tips do you have for people who want to do the same when large in-person events start again, of course, get to that stage?
When we're not in COVID.
Yeah, that's right.
Tips. My biggest thing, actually, it's kind of funny because I never wanted to speak. It terrified me. Did not want to do it. Never said I wanted to do it. Wasn't even like, maybe one day. No, did not want to do it. And my thing is, bigger crowds are easier. One, smaller crowds I find are way more terrifying. But one, you do it enough times, it gets easier. And two, know your message. Like, and don't deter from that. Like, it kind of goes back to the whole, there's way too much fakeness out there right now, but as long as you're truthful with what you want to speak about and you have results in it, it doesn't matter if that's health or fitness or business or real estate, like it doesn't matter your category. If you've seen success in something and have results in something, stay in that lane. I think with speaking, people try to go really broad. Like, I want to be a motivational speaker. Okay, well, what are you going to motivate people on? Well, I just want to be motivated. Well, what have you done to be able to motivate people? Like, usually it's a story, and then you start giving them, motivation. So I think if you just kind of start in your lane, you can kind of broaden that out and just stay truthful and authentic. About when I said I had my midlife crisis, I went on a little mission, and it all started because I kept seeing all this. So I kept seeing all these things, and I was like, what is going on with the world? I hate the world. What is wrong with people? Why is all this stuff on Instagram and on Facebook? And I was like, none of this is true. Like, what is wrong with the world? So a girlfriend of mine traveled. We went to LA, we went to San Diego, we went to Toronto, we went to Las Vegas. So we saw all these different speakers. I was like, I just want to see it. Like, just need to sit in the audience. And I say this all the time. You can keep me in my chair. It's a very good sign. And literally, because I'll just walk around. Like, once I'm like, okay, this is not for me, I get up and I walk away. But the two things to remember in that is, number one, just because it's not for me doesn't mean someone's not sitting there listening, loving it. And you can kind of stay in that niche. But I think what we're going to see is the big flush, because you can only sustain that for so long. And now people are going to have real financial issues, real mindset issues. Like, people are going to come out of this pandemic with both of those two problems. And you can go out there and be a speaker, whether it's a small event or a large event, and you can help people. Even if you had the smallest success, you can help people. So yeah, you're going to kind of see the flood of hopefully some of these speakers go. But yeah, I was kind of just in shock and awe. And at the very end of all that, I went to an event in October, and that was the first time I heard JT speak, and then started going to those events as well. But yeah, I heard a lot of speakers, and I was kind of just in awe. And I think not that all those speakers weren't talking about truths and stories, but it's as if it's now that's all they do, and all they do is speak. So yeah, your success story when you were 40 and now you're 70, it doesn't really work anymore. Do you know what I mean? The Lego pieces don't go together the same way. So for me, younger, going to one of these events, I was like, I get it. I get your principles. I get what you're trying to say, and fundamentals don't change. Like, I get it. But, you're not out there actively doing business. You're not out there actively running a fitness class, and now you're a fitness speaker. Like, so there was always a disconnect for me. And I just kind of became fascinated on it and went to all these events, lost and just kind of travel and see what I found. But yeah, I think if you have a message and you have results, you can speak on it for sure. Just stay authentic and don't lie and don't make things up. Don't take pictures with jets and Bugattis and rent the plane for the hour.
Yeah,
it doesn't look good.
Definitely. That's so great points there. And that authenticity, like you said, is really important. Like, that congruency basically in what you do and the message. It's people can feel when you're trying to teach something that you've maybe just heard from somebody else that you haven't got the results in your own life. People can tell that
Retaining information.
Yeah. That's right. So, and the other really key point that you said is that, I know you've done it a while ago, but are you doing it now? Or have you done it recently, which is really important as well, because yeah, you can, like you said, do it before. And when you do, and when you're doing it now, especially in these times as well, right? Or whatever it is, it shows that you can deliver the goods now, you're getting the results now, because it's all about results, right? And whether or not it's just to motivate people, but whether or not it's also to, get people to get them to a certain result, whatever that is that, some speakers sell as well. And, it's funny that, like, a lot of people go to these things and they sort of I don't know about these speakers, they sell and all, all this sort of stuff. And I love it. Like I go there like, a bit like you, and it's like, it's interesting how they did that. Like I sort of dissect it a bit,
Dissect it. Yeah.
Yeah. And like,
That's so
it's like, okay. And, if they're really good at selling something and I really feel that, my gut, my intuition is telling me to buy it, I'll buy it. Right. Like that. But, understanding, loving sales and understanding what they're doing, it's an art. And, and then you can take a lot of good value from these events, and not have that sort of mindset. That's the key thing I think that people, need to have.
If there's results there and that's your path, then people are going to gravitate to specific speakers. So that's okay. But I think, what I think it is too, it's a society shift. Like I think for the longest time you did something with your life and then you're very successful and then you go, okay, I'm going to write a book, and then now I'm going to write the book, and then now I'm going to speak. Okay, so now for the next 25 years I'm going to write the book and speak about the things I did now 30 years ago. And that's where I have a disconnect. Like those Lego blocks don't build the same bricks that they used to. And that for me is always a hard one. So it's different with like maybe mindset or motivational, because those things don't change too much, and then you can speak on them, and if you have results in them, they can stay the same. But if it's something like very niche specific or topic specific, because that's how it always has kind of worked. Like I built this big career and built this big success. Now I'm going to be a speaker and coach to retire on my exit strategy. Well, it doesn't make sense to me. Like the Lego doesn't go together properly. So that's my analogy on it.
Yeah, so true. I completely agree with you there, Katie. And so like, what advice would you give to people who want to start or grow a business?
Advice I'd give people. Well, firstly, you have to make the decision to start. You don't get to skip day one. And before you do it, I think you really need to have a conversation, because it depends with everyone where they're at. Have a conversation, make sure your mindset's there with your family, with people around you. And then my advice in business is to just be okay with failing. Like it's okay. I've said this entire pandemic, if I didn't make a cent, literally, if I didn't make a cent, which I obviously didn't, but if I didn't make a cent, the amount I learned would have been huge, right? I just became 10 times the entrepreneur I was from October. 10 times. So you have to be like kind of in that mindset and willing to learn, and being okay with failure. Too many people are not okay with it. And they're worried about the judgments or the perception of how it looks, or and that will always hurt you. Like you have to be okay with failure. You have to be okay with pivoting. You have to be okay with the fact that every day is never going to look the same, and you have to be okay with the chaos that comes with that. It doesn't matter if you want to go open your own variety store, right? Like take something kind of simple. I want to open a variety store. Okay, every day is going to be different in that variety store. What if the road closes and they're going to do construction on your street and now you have no customers, right? Like every day is always going to be different and always going to have a different challenge, and you just have to continue to accept the challenge. And I think it does take a specific type of person. I don't think everyone can do it. You know what I mean? And I don't mean that meanly. I coach people when I say this, and I say the same thing. It's not for everyone. It is such an unstable life. Not necessarily financially. Well, it is financially unstable. It's going to go up and down and up and down and up and down. You're going to have all these hills and valleys, but it's mindset unstable. Like it's up and down and up and down and up and down and up and down and up and down while trying to keep the money still going like this, right? And you really, really, really have to be built for that. Because if not, you're going to go to bed, oh my God, I lost it all. Oh my God, we're back to normal. Oh my God, there's a shitstorm. Oh, this is incredible. Like, it's just going to be, there's a meme on Instagram that's like that. It's like, oh my God, we're doing it. Oh God, no. It's the path of an entrepreneur. And I love it because it literally is. It's just like, zzz, zzz. And eventually, the money will keep up and you'll get a happy medium. But, that unbalance in life, it doesn't go away. And so anyone who tells you it does, it really doesn't. Even if you're a multi-millionaire, this does not change, right? The challenges get harder, more money, more problems. Like it really is a bigger leap and valley. So to be okay with that and to accept that, no matter if you're literally the variety store owner or, you know, someone out there trying to do something, you know, really big, it's as long as you can start and accept that, then nothing will get in your way. As long as you're relentless, nothing will get in your way, and you accept failure, nothing will get in your way. But it doesn't happen overnight. So you really, really have to work hard. And those are my tips.
Yeah, awesome. I completely agree with all of that. That was some amazing stuff. And, you know, and I think just something that I'd add to that as well is that you really need to do personal development on yourself, right? You need to work out, okay, what am I lacking? Like, yes, obviously you've got to be okay with failure, but it's like, okay, are there mindset things that are holding me back? Are there certain skills, if it's business, right? Are there certain skills about business? Do I know how to sell? I don't know how to, okay, who do I learn from? Who do I resonate with that I can learn, you know, to sell? You know, other areas of business that you don't know of. And, you know, and I think the biggest thing, and, you know, this is something obviously that we help people with, is getting a coach and a mentor, right? You know, or multiples, is that because, you know, you can fail, and you got to do all this personal development anyway. You got to educate yourself and you know, take yourself to a whole nother, and that's a constant thing in life, right? It's not like you just do it once and then that's it. I'm this person. It's a constant growth, and that's, I guess, part of the
Really? That's what they tell you on Instagram.
Oh, that's right. You sell one item, you make $1 million, and you just earn a beach for the rest of your life. That's the Instagram
You take
life.
this pill, you're happy for life, and you just swipe here, you'll have $1 million. It's all good. Sorry.
That's it. No, it's yeah, it's very different, and that constant growth. But you actually love the constant growth as well. That's the thing, and keep bettering yourself. And then you know, when you get the coaches and mentors, it's like a shortcut, basically, right? Because, you know, you could take you 5-10 years to get to a certain place by yourself because you learn from the failures, and they are all great learnings, don't get me wrong. But at the same time, if you can go to someone that's experienced a lot of stuff that you have, and you can basically learn from their failures and then learn what the right path is, the right strategies, you know, you can get there in 1/5, 1/10 of the time, a lot of the time there. So, and it's so valuable to do that. And I think that's what can help a lot of people that are starting, or, you know, or in early stages of business, especially because, you know, they'll go in and go, oh shit, this is too hard, and they'll just throw the towel, and then, you know what I mean? They're not an entrepreneur, right? And don't get me wrong, like you said, some people, it's not for them, it's not for everybody's, and some people want this stability. And for those people, if we can create awesome businesses that they want to work in, then it's a win-win, right? Because businesses still need people, right? Creating that culture and everything for people. But yeah, that's it's interesting that people think, like, you know, all these sports stars and all these very successful people have coaches and mentors, but people don't necessarily always want to invest in it. But, you know, when I did it, I know when you did it, you know, exponential growth, right? Once we invest in coaches and mentors, it's amazing.
Yeah, you have to have coaches and mentors. You have to.
Yeah.
You said it perfectly. It's a shortcut to success, one, and it's, if anything, it's going to keep you in whatever business you're in, because you're going to start to realize, like you just said, someone would just throw the towel in. And two, also you said businesses need great people. So if entrepreneurism isn't for you, that's not a bad thing. You know, you can get very well paid being an executive at a company, and those people, we need those people. So it's not necessarily a bad thing. But yeah, back to the coaching and mentoring, it will completely change everything. It's not just coaching you on your business. It's coaching you on your mindset for your business. It's coaching you on things that affect your business. It's coaching you on, you know, running your own business is running your own life and running your own economy. There's like 12 streams that get affected in having, I'll use the variety store again. You own the variety store, but, you know, there's 1,900 other things that go on when you own the variety store. And it can come down to, you know, a life issue. It can come down to a mindset issue. It can come down to a supply issue, or you know, some sort of business issue. And having those coaches in place are huge. And to bounce things off of it, it changes everything. Coaching's the best.
Yeah, I love it. Completely agree, Katie. And yeah, no, like, you know, we met a mega success, in November, and you know, you showcased a maturity, you know, way beyond your years, and it's enabled your success. And you know, you always aim to connect and help people where you can, and look for, you know, win-win situations and deals. So I'm very grateful that I met you there, and I look forward to doing many deals together as well.
Yes, me too. Me too.
And Yeah, and thank you very much for your time today, Katie. I'm sure many people have greatly benefited from your valuable wisdom.
No problem. Thank you for having me.
Anytime. And so how can people find you and get in contact with you?
So best way to reach out to me is through social media right now. So just go onto Facebook, it's Katie K. There's my business page and my personal page, or on Instagram, it's Katie Cassiotis.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you everyone for watching and listening to this show where we talk about everything on business growth. You can find me on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram as Athin Cassiotis, or visit my website, athincassiotis.com. I completely agree with you, or do I? The only way you will know is if you tune in next time. Until next time, remember that our business grows when we learn skills and take action using them in spite of fear. Have a great day.